What if I told you that every single dawn offers us a profound opportunity, the chance for a fresh start? It is a moment where the slate of yesterday, with its triumphs and its trials, is wiped clean, presenting us with the profound gift of beginning anew. We all, without exception, are intricately shaped by invisible forces that guide our days and dictate our choices. These forces are our habits, the myriad behaviors we repeat, often without a second thought, that ultimately weave the fabric of our existence. From the moment we stir from slumber, perhaps reaching instinctively for a phone, to the late-night snack consumed without true hunger, or even deeper, the automatic turning to substances or distractions to quell discomfort, these are not mere isolated actions. They are habits, and sometimes, insidiously, they evolve into something far more powerful, more consuming, than we could have ever anticipated: addiction. Please, subscribe, like, and share. To truly embark upon this journey of transformation, we must first understand the landscape of these forces. Habits are simply behaviors we engage in regularly, often becoming automatic, residing outside the realm of conscious deliberation. They can be the anchors that steady our lives, like the mindful practice of daily exercise or the discipline of oral hygiene. Yet, they can just as easily become the currents that pull us adrift, exemplified by procrastination or excessive engagement with digital screens. Addiction, however, transcends the simple repetition of a habit. It represents a profound, compulsive, and frequently uncontrollable dependence on a substance or a behavior, persisting despite its demonstrably negative repercussions on our health, our relationships, and our fundamental daily responsibilities. It is crucial to recognize that this silent battle is not exclusive to any demographic. Addiction does not discriminate based on age, gender, education level, social status, or religious affiliation. Indeed, some of the most formidable individuals one may encounter are quietly wrestling with these very struggles, as addiction often conceals itself behind composed smiles, meticulously maintained routines, and polished exteriors. The healing journey begins with a clear understanding of these dynamics and the commitment to transforming them. Herein lie the fundamental principles, the rules, if you will, that guide us in overcoming destructive habits and the grip of addiction, enabling us to forge a life rooted in intention and well-being. Cultivate awareness, not shame. This is the foundational stone upon which all healing is built. For far too long, many have labored under the misconception that addiction is merely a deficiency of willpower, a moral failing. This narrative is not only deeply unkind but also fundamentally inaccurate. Addiction, in its very essence, hijacks the intricate reward system of the brain, effectively rewiring it and trapping individuals in cycles that are profoundly difficult, if not impossible, to dismantle in isolation. Therefore, the initial, paramount step is to cultivate a deep and empathetic awareness of the habits that are shaping your life today, without the corrosive weight of judgment or shame. Drawing a profound lesson from Stoic philosophy, our greatest power lies in our capacity for conscious thought and choice, or proheresis. While external circumstances or the internal mechanisms of our brain may present challenges, our response to these challenges, our judgment of them, and our choice to act remain unequivocally within our sphere of influence. To understand why we turn to certain behaviors, be it to cope with trauma, stress, anxiety, or loneliness, to escape pain, boredom, or a sense of emptiness, due to social pressures or cultural normalization, or even as a byproduct of underlying mental health issues such as depression, PTSD, or ADHD, is to illuminate the path forward. Sometimes, a destructive pattern simply begins as an innocuous routine that spirals unexpectedly. Acknowledging this why is not an act of self-pity, but a critical prerequisite for authentic healing. Understand the nature of your chains. To break free, one must first identify the bonds that hold them. The sources reveal that these forces manifest in various forms. There are substance addictions, encompassing alcohol, nicotine, opioids, prescription medications, and illicit drugs. These often commence innocuously, perhaps through social engagement or experimental curiosity, yet possess a potent capacity to swiftly devolve into destructive dependencies. Then there are behavioral addictions, which, while sometimes more challenging to detect due to their less tangible nature, can inflict equally profound damage. These include gambling, excessive gaming, compulsive social media use, pornography, and uncontrolled shopping. Conversely, it is equally vital to recognize the power of positive habits practices like consistent reading, journaling, dedicated physical activity, spiritual grounding through prayer or meditation, and the continuous pursuit of new skills. When cultivated mindfully and with unwavering consistency, these beneficial habits serve as formidable bulwarks, fostering resilience, enhancing focus, and enriching overall well-being. The Stoics taught us to scrutinize our impressions, to examine the true nature of things rather than reacting blindly. By understanding the specific nature of the habit or addiction, we gain clarity, which is the first step toward wise action. Recognize the tipping point, when a habit becomes an addiction. This is a critical distinction that demands our utmost attention. A habit ceases to be a mere repetition and crosses the threshold into addiction when several profound shifts occur, signaling a loss of control and an escalating dependence. Firstly, you find yourself feeling utterly powerless to cease the behavior, even when a genuine desire to stop resides within you. The internal struggle becomes immense, the resolve often buckling under the weight of an overwhelming compulsion. Secondly, the behavior begins to usurp the rightful place of your core responsibilities, your cherished relationships, or even fundamental self-care practices. The substance or activity takes precedence, becoming the primary determinant of your choices and schedule, relegating all other vital aspects of life to a secondary, often neglected, status. Thirdly, should you attempt to curtail or discontinue the behavior, you experience palpable withdrawal symptoms, which can manifest as either physical distress or acute emotional turmoil. This can range from irritability and anxiety to profound physical discomfort, signaling the body's and mind's dependence. Finally, a hallmark of addiction is the escalating need for more. You require increasingly greater quantities or intensities of the activity or substance merely to achieve a baseline sense of okayness or normalcy. This escalating need, known as tolerance, forces individuals into a relentless pursuit, perpetually chasing a diminishing sense of relief. The Stoic concept of apatheia, not as the absence of emotion but as freedom from unhealthy passions and disturbances, resonates here. When a habit begins to dictate our inner state and our external actions in such a compulsive manner, it moves beyond a mere routine to become a chain on our rational faculty. Embrace the power of choice, despite the brain's rewiring. While the assertion that addiction hijacks the brain and rewires the reward system is empirically sound and profoundly important to acknowledge, it is equally vital to understand that this scientific reality does not strip us entirely of our agency. The very possibility of healing, of breaking free, remains firmly within our grasp, and crucially, it commences with an active decision, an internal pivot towards awareness and action, rather than succumbing to the inertia of shame. This is where the profound wisdom of Stoic philosophy offers a powerful beacon. The Stoics meticulously distinguished between what lies within our control and what does not. While we may not consciously control the initial surge of a craving or the physiological alterations within our brain, we absolutely retain dominion over our assent to those impulses, our judgments about them, and our subsequent actions. The choice to seek help, to articulate one's struggle, to take the very first, tentative step towards recovery, this fundamental power of self-direction is never truly extinguished. It is the courageous act of activating this inherent choice, of choosing self-mastery over enslavement to impulse, that sets the stage for genuine transformation. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share our videos if you find this message resonating with you and believe it could help others on their journey towards a more fulfilling life. Seek connection, not isolation. One of the most insidious traits of addiction and destructive habits is their tendency to thrive in secrecy and isolation. They compel individuals to fight silent battles, often hiding their struggles behind a facade of normalcy. Yet, the path to healing is almost universally paved through genuine connection. No one is meant to navigate this arduous journey alone. The sources highlight multiple avenues for this vital support: professional assistance from therapists, psychologists, and addiction specialists, as well as the structured environment of rehab centers. The journey of recovery is profoundly personal and not a one-size-fits-all process, emphasizing the importance of finding the modality that best suits one's individual needs. Beyond professional guidance, the immense power of community and support groups cannot be overstated. Organizations such as Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, Narcotics Anonymous, NA, Smart Recovery, and even spiritual communities like church or local community groups provide a safe harbor for shared experiences, mutual encouragement, and the profound realization that one is not alone. In these spaces, stories are shared, burdens are lightened, and the collective strength of individuals striving for similar goals creates an environment where healing truly flourishes. The Stoic ideal of communal living, of oikiosis, or appropriation, speaks to our natural inclination towards connection and mutual support. We are social beings, and our well-being is often intertwined with the well-being of our community. Rebuild your foundation, lifestyle and routine changes. While addressing the immediate symptoms of addiction is paramount, sustained recovery and the cultivation of a truly flourishing life necessitate the deliberate and intentional construction of a new foundation. This involves the systematic development of new, healthy habits, introduced slowly and consistently into one's daily routine. This is not merely about ceasing destructive behaviors, but about actively replacing them with nourishing ones. Practices such as mindfulness, which fosters present moment awareness and reduces reactivity, spiritual grounding, which provides a sense of purpose and peace, consistent gratitude journaling, which shifts perspective towards abundance, and positive self-talk, which rewires internal narratives away from self-condemnation, are powerful tools in this rebuilding process. The Stoics placed immense value on arete, or virtue, and recognized that virtue is not an abstract concept but is cultivated through consistent, purposeful action and the development of virtuous habits. Each deliberate choice to engage in a positive activity, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the foundation of a healthier, more resilient self. Set boundaries and embrace accountability. The journey of breaking cycles and building healthier lives requires a robust commitment to self-protection and external support. This means diligently identifying and actively avoiding triggers, those specific people, places, emotions, or situations that historically provoke or enable destructive habits and addictive urges. This is a proactive act of self-preservation, recognizing one's vulnerabilities and strategically navigating environments. Furthermore, a crucial element of sustained recovery is the courage to share your journey openly with someone you implicitly trust. This act of vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but an immense display of strength, for it invites accountability and provides an invaluable layer of support. This trusted individual can offer encouragement, challenge unhelpful patterns, and serve as a beacon during moments of doubt or temptation. Stoic philosophy champions self-control and discipline as core virtues. Setting boundaries is a clear expression of self-control, and seeking accountability from a trusted source aligns with the Stoic practice of learning from mentors and engaging in mutual moral improvement. Believe in progress, not perfection. The narrative of recovery is rarely a linear ascent, rather, it often resembles a winding path, replete with twists, turns, and occasional descents. It is imperative to internalize the profound truth that recovery is not a perfect, uninterrupted trajectory. There will, inevitably, be moments of setback, a lapse, a moment of weakness, a return to an old pattern. However, and this cannot be overstated, such setbacks do not, under any circumstances, equate to failure. Instead, they are an inherent, often instructive, part of the human journey towards transformation. Each stumble provides an opportunity for introspection, for refinement of strategies, and for a renewed commitment to the path. The Stoic concept of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, encourages us to contemplate potential difficulties in advance, not to dwell on negativity, but to prepare our minds for challenges. This preparedness allows us to meet setbacks not with despair, but with a preconditioned resilience, understanding that they are opportunities for growth rather than definitive endings. It is a testament to the indomitable human spirit that even after a fall, the capacity to rise again, stronger and wiser, remains. Consider the story of Elias, a man in his late 40s who found himself adrift in the silent current of a gaming addiction. For years, Elias had poured countless hours into online worlds, initially as an escape from the mounting pressures of his demanding job and a growing sense of disconnection from his family. What began as a harmless hobby, a way to unwind, slowly began to consume his evenings, then his nights, and eventually encroached upon his work and his marriage. He felt the familiar surge of shame each morning as he peeled himself from his computer chair, having played until the early hours. Yet, the compulsion to return, to chase the next virtual reward, became overwhelming. He started to neglect his responsibilities, missing deadlines at work, and withdrawing from his wife and children. The thought of stopping filled him with a profound sense of emptiness and anxiety. The emotional withdrawal symptoms were undeniable. Elias had fallen into the trap, feeling utterly powerless. One morning, observing his daughter's quiet sadness, a sliver of awareness broke through the fog. He remembered the words, "Healing is possible and it starts with awareness, not shame." This was his turning point, his conscious choice to acknowledge the problem without the crushing weight of self-condemnation. Drawing on the Stoic idea that what truly belongs to us is our judgment and our will, Elias made the profound decision to reclaim his life. He began by sharing his struggle with his wife, an act of vulnerability that instantly eased some of his isolation. Together, they sought professional help from a therapist who specialized in behavioral addictions. Elias also joined an online support group, finding a connection with others facing similar challenges. He slowly implemented lifestyle changes, replacing gaming hours with evening walks with his wife, teaching his daughter chess, and dedicating time to learning a new skill, woodworking. There were difficult days, moments where the urge to return to the virtual world was overwhelming, but he held fast to the principle that recovery is not linear and setbacks do not mean failure. His wife became his accountability partner, and they jointly set firm boundaries around screen time. Elias's journey was arduous, but through persistent effort, self-compassion, and the power of connection, he began to rebuild his life, one mindful choice at a time. His story became a testament to the truth that cycles can be broken, and healthier lives can indeed be built. As you reflect on Elias's journey, consider how these principles can apply to your own life. We encourage you to like, subscribe, and share our videos so that more individuals can discover these messages of hope and transformation. The conversation about habits and addiction must be opened widely, without hesitation or fear. So many individuals are silently enduring, gripped by fear of judgment, uncertain of where to begin their journey towards liberation. But by engaging in this discourse openly, we take the crucial first stride toward healing not only for ourselves but for the countless others who stand to benefit from our shared courage and transparency. Let us remember that every individual is susceptible to the insidious creep of habits turning into addictions. It is a universal human vulnerability, yet it is also a universal human strength to overcome. The power to break free, to transform, and to build a life rich with purpose and well-being resides within each of us. What habits are shaping your life today? What positive changes are you diligently working towards? Have you, or has someone dear to you, confronted the formidable challenge of addiction, and how did the process of healing first unfold? Your personal narrative possesses the profound capacity to illuminate the path for another, to provide the crucial inspiration needed for someone to take their very first, monumental step. Let us pledge to uplift one another, free from the shackles of shame, unburdened by the weight of stigma. For it is truly together that we possess the collective strength to dismantle cycles of dependency and painstakingly construct lives that are not only healthier but profoundly more meaningful and fulfilling. The time for transformation is not a distant future, it is now. Embrace this new dawn. Take control of your life, starting today.